Hello everyone, I'm Santiago, and today I'm going to be testing Forza Motorsport 6 Apex Beta on the GeForce GTX 950. If you want to see how it runs on the 750 Ti, check the description below, there's a link to that video there. And well, this game, DirectX 12, I cannot use cam for FPS monitoring this time around. Let me explain you why, because Microsoft Store is not these games are Universal Windows applications, so they don't accept any overlays. They are not Win32 apps, so cam won't recognize this as a game, so it won't display the overlay. It happens with every overlay except with action, and I think other ones. Thanks to some viewers, I could find out that this FPS counter works. So I'm going to use action for the FPS counter. I will use cam for the rest of the monitoring things like GPU usage, VRAM, and CPU usage. So if you want to use cam, check the description below. There's a link to download it there, and there's a tutorial on the top right corner of the video. There you can click the annotation there over the logo if you want to learn how to use it. Well, without further ado, let's jump into the game. If you want to see when I change resolutions, when I do certain stuff, just check the description below. I put the moments of the video where I change settings, resolutions, when I do different kinds of stuff, so you don't have to, well, look it up yourself. So this is a DirectX 12 game, and it's finally on PC. So I'm going to show you the options menu first. We have dynamic render quality, low, medium, high, or ultra. So, okay. Here, the thing is, if you put on high or ultra, it will say the setting you have selected requires more video system memory than it's available. So it won't allow you. But we have different things. We can, well, first, dynamic optimization. I'll explain this later. Force resolution, what is this? So force resolution is that no matter the size of the window, the render resolution will be the same down here. As you can see here, it says when force resolution is turned on, the game will always render at the selected resolution and scale the scene to fit the window. What this means is that it doesn't matter the size of the window. Even if I put it like this, the game will still be rendered at 1080p, so it doesn't matter. Then we have the resolution here. If I try to select 4K, it won't allow me, but I can choose 1440p. Well, I cannot choose it right now. What a weird thing, I used to be able to. Okay, so 1080p. And on dynamic optimization, if this will choose the settings for you in order to hit a certain frame rate, so we'll put it on custom. Once you put it in custom, everything will be on dynamic, but you can change it. As you can see, it says dynamic, but you can change everything here. So things to keep in mind. So if you choose here 30 FPS, the game will, well, be capped at 30, and if you keep any of these settings down here at dynamic, the game will put in the correct option to hit 30. Since this game is usually running at 60 on console, on the Xbox One, we'll target 60. And well, if you want the game to, I don't know, if you don't want to choose the settings and let the game decide, everything right here should be put in dynamic. As you can see, every option has low, medium, high, ultra, and dynamic. Dynamic is that the game chooses the preset, so you hit the desired frame rate. So I'll explain this in a different video in depth, so you can know how to tweak the game. First, for the 950 and 1080p, I will use anisotropic filtering 16 times, shadows on high, particle resolution on quarter, procedural quality on high, card textures on dynamic, so that we don't run out of memory or VRAM. Then mirrors dynamic because they are better than ending. Car models on high. Particle effects medium since it has a significant impact on GPU usage. Depth of field off since it's better than ending too. MSA quality, well, MSA multi-sample anti-aliasing we have 2 times, 4 times, and 8 times. For some reason we cannot turn it off, so I will keep it on dynamic, because why not? Then lensless, dynamic, low, medium, high, keep it on high. Windshield reflections on high. Truck texture quality, dynamic. We don't want to run out of VRAM, so we keep that on dynamic. And reflections on high. This should be fine for a truck that has only, well, sun, that it's not raining. So let's put the game in a window so we can see the frame rate, the CPU and GPU usage, and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so as you can see, this is how we tweak the game. I will be using an Xbox 360 controller to play this. It's an official controller. As you can see, it works. It changed the buttons down here. So let's jump into the game. We'll start with Rio's track, daytime, and then I will test places with rain and all that kind of stuff. So see you when the game loads. Okay guys, so now the game finished loading, and let's start with the race, shall we? This part that you will see right here, when the cars are entering the race, it doesn't run that good, but once the game is finally playing, you will see that it will run better. So now we have 56, 58. Yeah, there are some weird drops in performance. So hang on a second. As you can see, the CPU is at 100%. That doesn't allow Cam to show me the GPU usage. Hang on for a second, let me pause the game. Yeah, it froze my system for a second. Yeah, it was using a lot of CPU, that's why it wasn't displaying the graph, so that's a problem. Let's see if we can play anyway. Okay, now it seems that we can. I'll restart the race. Nah, I won't restart anything. Let's just keep playing. Okay, let's see. So most of the problem here is the CPU. If you have an i5 or better, you won't have these hitches as I'm having right now. That's very clearly a CPU problem. As you can see, when the CPU to usage reaches over 90%, it pretty much freezes the game a little. So we'll have to tweak that in order to get good performance. But as you can see, the GPU usage is around 68%, 70%. We're not even reaching 90% usage. So we have a lot of room to spare. The problem here is the CPU. So if you had a better CPU, this will run great at 60. So let's try to fix this. We will do the following. We'll put everything on dynamic except shadows. Everything on dynamic. So the game chooses the best setting. Then anisotropic filtering too. Yeah, let's keep the shadows too on dynamic. Then I will show you if it's worth it or not. So I'll have to restart the race for that. So okay, as I said, I put everything on dynamic but targeting 60 FPS. So the game will try to get 60 FPS choosing the settings for us. Okay, that's the point of that thing at the options menu. Let's see if it helped at any way. As you can see, the shadows are way worse now. I don't know if you can notice it. They're way less sharp. But some things seem to have changed. I mean, in the track quality and all that kind of stuff. But it's way more consistent, as you can see. It still drops below 50 for a couple seconds, but it's not as bad. So that's a good thing. So okay. Yeah, shadows are terrible. That's why they're on dynamic. As you can see, the GPU usage is 60 to 70%. Inside this tunnel, it will be way lower since we don't have shadows here. As you can see, it's at 50 to 60% GPU usage. But the CPU is still struggling to maintain 60. So I suggest, if you don't want these hitches, just cap the game at 30 frames per second. But okay, let's crank up shadows. Let's keep them on ultra. No, yeah, on ultra. And anisotropic filtering 16 times. I don't know what else do we need. Yeah, anything else. Let's just play like this. We restart the race. And you will clearly see how different shadows will look. Shadows will look so sharp right now once the race starts. Okay, let's see. The game still looks fantastic, so don't worry. If you want graphics, yeah, you can see here, the shadows are way sharper. The game looks way better now. Let's see if we get the same drops in performance. Yeah, the problem, as I mentioned many times, the CPU. Maintaining 60 with this CPU on a GTX 950 is not easy. You probably won't. Remember that I'm recording, so that takes a portion of the GPU and a portion of the CPU too. I'm just killing everyone here. But if you have a 750 Ti, you won't have a problem to run this at 60, but on the 950 you will, since there's a higher CPU requirement to handle this GPU. So yeah, I suggest an i5 to play this with a 950 if you want more stable 60s, if you want to avoid those drops. But we're pretty much fine. The problem are some of those hitches, as you can remember. We didn't have mirrors. Look at the mirror over there on the right corner. It still works. We still have reflections on the hood. I mean, the game looks fantastic. Even the shadows are so sharp. It's just insane. I mean, the quality put into this game is unbelievable. I'm crashing all over the place. Yeah, I know. I'm a terrible driver. You might know that from my previous videos. But as you can see, we still have reflections. We have fantastic shadows. And the textures seem to be fine. I mean, I don't notice any low quality texture. You might not notice how good this game looks due to the YouTube compression. But as you can see, we're getting between 55, 50 to 60 frames per second with some hitches that are very annoying. If you don't care, just download the game right away. But yeah, let's now try something different. Let's try 1440p. Let's hope I can put 1440p. I'm sorry. Yes, okay, I put the game at 1440p, as you can see. 2560 by 1440. I will put in full screen so you can see. 1440p. I will keep shadows on high. Let's put this in a window once again. We apply the settings and we restart the race. Let's see how it does. I will target in 60. So if this runs like 60, it will be very amazing. Once the game starts, remember, when the race starts, it shows the real performance. When the cars are going into the race, it just runs worse. Let's go away from the cockpit view. Holy shit, look at that. Amazing. We're running this game at 1440p, high shadows, the rest on dynamic. Who knows what the game chose for us. And the game looks great. I mean, look at this. Let's go into the cockpit view. We'll still have shadows into the cockpit. We have everything here. Let's see if we still have reflections. Yeah, as you can see on the hood, we still have reflections on the car. It even reflects the numbers over the other cars. Yeah, perfect. I mean, I'm very impressed. And the GPU usage here was 97%, so we're hitting the limits of the 950. But the game looks fantastic. I cannot stress that enough. And it's free. It's free for PC. We don't have multiplayer, but at least we can play a great game on our PCs. Yeah, as you can see, I think we're hitting 60 more consistently here than on 1080p, which is weird. So yeah, what I suggest, get a better CPU. You need more cores, that's what it seems. So with an i5, you should be laughing at this game's performance. But even with the i3 we're hitting 60s here. Yeah, I think it's more consistent at 1440p than at 1080p. Yeah, look at how beautiful this is. Holy shit. Let's brake a little here. Alright. Oh yeah, it looks fantastic. I have no words to explain it. But yeah, if you want the best performance, I suggest you don't tweak it yourself. You will pretty much run out of video memory. That's what happened to me many times. And I found that the game looks better just if you keep everything on dynamic, except shadows. You just want to keep them on high or ultra. And anisotropic filtering, put it on 16 times right away. The rest, keep it on dynamic, since it's really weird how it behaves. Like, I don't know, I mean particles, the particle resolution will change the amount of VRAM needed, so you will have to keep that at the minimum. Then the textures over the cars and the tracks, those have to be kept in the correct one, since we will run out of VRAM and the game will stutter even more. So you can see here we're dropping to 50. But it's fine. Let's switch to 900p. Whoops, no, they won't allow us to use 4K. So let's try 900p ultra shadows, the same as on dynamic. The game should tweak it for us. For the best quality performance ratio. And let's see. Okay, so we start the race. We skip this and okay, it seems to be way more stable. It is, yeah. It still drops when there are a lot of racers shown on screen, as you can see right here, since there's a lot of this happening. But once we get more into the track, it starts to be more consistent. It seems to, when it loads assets, it takes a little to assume it. But yeah, the problem here, as I cannot stress enough, CPU is the problem. Yeah, I mean the GPU usage is 84%, so we are using it. We have some room to spare. We have 10%, around 10% of the GPU available, so we have some headroom for performance. So yeah, the problem here for maintaining 60, CPU, nothing more than that. As you can see, the game runs fine. Inside the cockpit, it looks fantastic too. I mean, look at this. I can't stress enough how good this game looks. Finally, we have a well-performing DirectX 12 game. We might see better performance on an FX 6300, since it has more cores, and DirectX 12 takes advantage of those extra cores. And I will also assume that AMD GPUs will run the game better. They run DirectX 12 around 10 to 20% better than Nvidia, sometimes 30% better. I saw a video on an R9 390 beating a GTX 970 on Quantum Break on DirectX, since it's a DirectX 12 game. And on DirectX 11 and other games, the GTX 970 beats it. So for DirectX 12, it seems that AMD is the best choice for performance. You get quite a nice boost there. But without further ado, let's go into 720. Whoops. Alright, 720p. Ultra shadows, the anisotropic filtering 16 times. And as you remember, we also have the rest on dynamic, so the game chooses the best setting, which is important. It's crucial for the game to run good. I mean, the game looks fantastic. And here at 720, we're getting 60s. Let's see when we get in here. Yeah, now it's way more stable. It doesn't drop into the low 40s like on 1080p or 1440p. Yeah, as you can see here, we are having the best performance, as expected, of course. And the game looks really, really nice. But yeah, I will repeat it over and over and over again so you guys understand. If you don't listen to me, I don't care, I'll repeat it over and over. CPU is the problem here. The GPU is fine. We have a lot of headroom to spare with the 950 here, as you could see. Again, we have even reflections enabled. Reflections, ultra shadows, maximum anisotropic filtering, and we have 70% usage. We have 30% of GPU available to use. I mean, 30% of the GPU is just sitting there doing nothing. Here we have 50% usage. It's like, it's insane, guys. So, okay, let's do something different. Let's go into 1080. Again, we will use high shadows, and we will exit the race. And we will go into a rainy part, since rain destroys performance on project cars. On project cars it destroyed performance, but here it doesn't affect it that much. It's just the number of racers on screen. So let's go here. We go into Server International, which is rainy, and let's go. As I was saying, so rain will affect performance, but the issue here is still the CPU. The GPU is fine. I mean, I noticed that lowering the reflection quality used less CPU, so the game was more stable. But yeah, the problem here are those effects are managed by both the GPU and CPU. Let's see once the race starts. Okay. Let's start with the race. Remember, everything on dynamic, shadows on high, and anisotropic filtering 16 times. So let's see how it runs on a rainy day. Okay, once the race starts, when everything is moving, and as you can see here, it's kind of struggling. There it dropped to 34, then up to 50. Yeah, at the beginning it's a mess in these kind of races. So you might want to, if you want better performance here, just get a better CPU. Let me explain why. The GPU usage is 70 to 80%, so we have some headroom to spare. As you could see, as I was explaining before. So the problem here, CPU, CPU, CPU. As I mentioned, I will mention it many times. Let's see how it looks from here. Holy shit, look at this. Insane. The rain reacts to how I move the car. If I move it left or right, it will move into the opposite way. It seems to be dynamic, a dynamic shader. That's insane. Look at that. Yeah. I crashed and the water stopped moving. I mean, look at this. I will go fast and then brake just to show you how the grablers drop. If I'm braking, it just moves. I move to the left, to the right, and the grablers do their job. Yeah, amazing. Okay, let's now switch into 1440p. Oh yeah, they don't want me to use 1440p here apparently. Let's try it again. There we go. If we keep shadows on medium, no, let's keep them, yeah, or there we go. So 1440p, high shadows, the rest on dynamic, and anisotropic filtering 16 times. Let's try 1440p, which is 2560 by 1440. Okay. And yeah, we're still struggling here at the beginning of the race due to the huge number of effects present and number of cars. Remember, CPU, CPU, CPU is a problem. The rest is fine. The GPU load is 90%, so here we're fine. It's how it should be. But yeah, we're kind of running out of GPU horsepower. So let's drop let's keep shadows on dynamic and anisotropic 4 times. In this game, anisotropic filtering seems to affect performance way more than other games, so keep that in mind. Let's try this again. Okay, let's see now. As you can see now, the GPU usage is 99%, so we're using the whole GPU for this. That's what it seems. So yeah, if you want 1440p, you might have some FPS drops. This and the CPU both being kind of struggling is not a good thing. That's why the game struggles way more than before, as you can see. So yeah, for rainy tracks, avoid 1440p. Let's do 900p, 16 times anisotropic, and ultra shadows. And we'll restart the race. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. We're using a lot of VRAM. 1.8 to 1.9 gigabytes. I saw that a lot while playing this game. No matter the resolution, we're between 1.7 gigabytes and 1.9 gigabytes of VRAM usage, so a 2 gigabyte video card is a must. It seems to be the minimum requirement, so keep that in mind. But as you can see here, no matter if we switch resolutions, it still has struggles a little on this rainy section, just like Project Cars. Project Cars was a mess in comparison to this. In performance wise in rainy places, Project Cars just, well, died while I was in rainy tracks. But yeah, here as you can see, we're using 50 to 60% of the CPU. Okay. Yeah, it's not pretty in that aspect. That performance is not that good. Holy shit, I'm sorry. Performance is not that good on rainy weather. But the game is still playable, so it's up to you. If you want to avoid those annoying stutters on rainy places or when there are a lot of racers on screen, just get a better CPU. That's all I can tell you. Better CPU will fix most of these problems because the GPU is doing fine. As you can see at the left, we're pretty much using half the GPU. But we're struggling less. But the CPU is pretty close to 100%. And that's not good if we're playing a game all the time. So yeah, if you have an i3, I suggest you go for an i5 to avoid stuttering. I'm terrible at this game. I should have paid attention. But yeah, as you can see, we'll still have reflections down here. Hang on. We still have reflections on the hood, so the game still has a level of a stable level of quality. Oops. But yeah, I will show you the best settings, and that's it. So we're going to put 1080p, as you can see here. Shadows on high, the rest on dynamic. And those are the best settings. I'll show you closer. Best settings. Let me apply them. So, best settings. 1080p, 60 FPS target, 16 times anisotropic filtering, shadow quality on high. And that's it. You'll see some drops on this race, as you could see, on the rainy place. When it's raining, the performance will be kind of hard to maintain. So we're going to select a different track in daytime. I will play for a little, and I will stop talking once I start playing like that. So let's go into... Yeah, let's use the same track. Now, the same track? No thanks. Let's use Rio de Janeiro. Full circuit reverse. Probably not. Yeah, let's do the standard circuit. And I will choose a different car this time, because why not? Yeah, let's use this one. And let's start the race. So remember, I'm using 1080p, everything on dynamic, which means the game will select the settings for us, and shadows on high, and anisotropic filtering 16 times. And I just tell you, the game looks fantastic. I mean, even if they select the settings for us, in the only way they are bad at selecting settings is for shadow quality. Shadows look terrible if you set them on dynamic. They seem to put them on low or medium. So keep that in mind. So let's start the race. And I'm going to pause the game. Let me pause. Okay. As you can see, 1080p, everything on dynamic, high shadows, anisotropic filtering 16 times. And that's it. Okay. So let's switch into here. And as you can see, we're having some drops. Remember, I'm recalling that takes some CPU usage too. The world is not perfect. But yeah. The thing is the CPU, as I told you. But the game looks great. Boom. Die, motherfucker. Yeah, I did that on purpose, but as you can see there, it dropped to 40. But yeah, starters. In the meantime, let's do something else. Let's monitor RAM this time. Let's monitor RAM. Yeah, the CPU is at 100%. It froze. Okay. Let's check RAM. Okay, RAM. Whoa, that's insane. We're using almost all our available physical RAM. We're using 7.9 gigabytes. So the developers were serious when they were recommending 16 gigabytes of RAM. We're using 7.9 gigabytes. That's insane, guys. That's a lot of RAM. It's using almost all my system memory. That can explain. That's also one explanation why the game is stuttering. We might need more RAM. So that's a good thing. We discovered something else. We discovered that we need a better CPU and more RAM. So yeah, look at that. 7.8 gigabytes. Insane. It's using a lot of RAM. That's unfortunate. But that's crazy at the same time. I never thought that a game would use more than 7 gigs. That's a huge chunk of RAM. As you can see, 96%. Yeah, it's running out of RAM. The system is running out of RAM. But yeah, the CPU also influences the performance. As you can see, it hit 100% many times. So that's something to keep in mind. But the GPU is capable. That's what's important here. So well, that's all I got to say for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one. Bye. And I will crash into here, into the wheels.